Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Assembly Line. Today it's the Ben and Ryan show. Kyle's not able to make it. Um, we're going to start talking with Tigers series win that just got over. Um, and then we'll go game by game like we normally do. And then we'll touch on just a couple quick notes of the other team. Should be a shorter episode today. Not too much going on. Um, but like I said, we'll start with the Tigers. Just finished today's game. They won 4-1. Skubal pitched another great outing. I think he went 7 innings, no earned runs. Did have a couple
Yep.
walks, which is
Couple walks,
yep, unlike him a little
six
bit.
six Ks.
Yep. And then what we had Dingler. What inning was it? The fourth
Dingler
inning.
went yard. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
he went yard and he caused that
Uh,
one dude to smack into the
yeah,
wall. Um,
yeah. That
he
was
he
that was
hit that hard.
a.
Um, I
Hoping he's
was
okay.
I was golfing and I had it on my phone. I get back and all I see was a guy on the ground. I'm like, oh my god, what happened? I was like, what they hit? Did he hit it back at him? Like I didn't know it was an outfielder. I just saw a guy
Oh
down.
yeah, yeah,
Then I'm like, oh my god, it's 1-0. Must have hit a home run. And then they showed the replay. Oh my god, he
yeah.
smacked the wall. And
Yeah, it's
then
like you didn't even know he was on the warning track.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then later that inning, Parker Meadows went deep with
Yep.
Javi and McKinstry maybe. No, I
It
don't know.
would have been McKinstry and Javi. Yeah.
Yep, I know ball. He had a 3 run. It's funny because when I was watching that at bat, his first pitch of that at bat, it was a high fastball out of the zone, and he swung at it. I'm like, dude, it's all first pitch. What are you doing? Swing at that, and
Yeah.
then 1 and 2 or whatever it was, he hits the home run. Literally, it was more. This pitch was a little more inside, but it was still up and out of the zone.
Right.
But yeah, so he hit a home run, his first RBIs and first home run of the year. Um,
Yep.
they strung together a couple more hits, but really it just came. That's all I needed. That's all you need when Scubal's on the mound. And
Right.
then Canley came in on the eighth, and he gave up a home run. First or second batter. I think it was the first batter he faced. And then Vest came in and shut the door. But overall, it was good baseball. I mean, they got the runs that you need to when Scubal's on the mound, and didn't waste any runs because like they did the White Sox series when they scored 13 and only needed 4 to feel comfortable. But
Right.
any more thoughts on today's game?
Um. Yeah. I mean, all in all, did pretty well. Like you said, you only need 4 runs when School was on the mound. It did get dicey out there when Canley was on the bump. After that home run, then next batter 4 pitch walk. Um, I mean, it's not ideal, and then you have a ground ball to Javi at short. Taylor made double play, and then a bad throw from Glaber kind of pulls Torque off the base and couldn't really squeeze it for the double play. And I mean, it nothing really happened out of it, but it could have. It was only in the 8th inning, so just glad nothing really happened, and hopefully, just kind of learns a little bit more command. And I'm not too worried
No, I'm not worried
about.
about him. I mean, he gave up a home run, but him and Vest don't really give up home runs, and they both gave up one this series. Um, we haven't talked about it yet, but in the first game, Vest gave up a home run in the ninth. And look, if you're gonna give up a home run, it might as well be the first batter when you're up 4 runs or whatever it is. Like
Right.
it's a lot less damaging. And those don't, if they're gonna do it, might as well do it in the games that we kind of are up. And um, there's no one on base, so it's not like a dagger or anything. So I'm not, it's just you're gonna give up home runs. It's just,
Especially in
we got,
today's day. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's looking to hit the ball in the air. No one's looking to put a ball through the middle or through a gap,
yeah,
between the short and third gap or first, second gap. They're just looking to hit the gaps between the outfielders.
yep,
Um,
yeah, and
Something
then
about statistics or something like that.
um,
Metrics.
we needed this win for the series win because yesterday we lost 10-1, and just overall just wasn't a great day. Um, Herder gave up two in the third inning. I think it both were. I think they had two outs.
Herder
Let's
didn't
see,
throw yesterday.
who was it then?
Casey Mize
Oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. My eyes gave up two in
gave
the
up
two in the
two.
third,
Yep.
and then they pitched well, and then but or then like he was kind of all over the place. He in the first two innings, like he was getting people were getting on, but he was getting out of it, which looked good. And then, like I said, he's one that gave up two in the third. Um,
Yep.
and then we get back. It took a while, but we get one back in the seventh, and you think we're back in the ball game. And then right after that, we have to, Holton give up a run. So it was just, wasn't our day. We only had 5 hits, and then seventh inning they get, like I said, Holton gave up a run, and then the eighth inning is where everything broke loose. I was watching, and then I don't. They gave up like a home run. I'm like, oh my god, they can't. We weren't hitting the ball. They're down at this point like
Yeah.
7-2, and I'm like, all right, it's over. So I stopped watching it, but I see that Hanafi and Brisky both went in, and obviously they didn't do well. I mean, Brisky gave up 5 earned runs. Just not a great day at the ballpark, but what are you gonna do? That's baseball
Oh,
for you.
you're gonna have those.
Feels like we say that every time. It's just like you're gonna have
Yep.
those. I mean, that's just what happens. In baseball, you're happy with winning a 3-game series 2-1. So
Yeah. There's what
you know,
162
yeah,
games.
yeah. I mean,
These
if
games are
you
bound to happen
yeah,
once or twice, a month. It happens.
I mean, you're at 108 wins if you win two out of every three. I mean, so you got to be
Yeah,
happy with
that's
winning two out of every three. So do I like that we gave up 10 runs? No, because it feels like when we have been losing, if you go back to the White Sox, like we're kind of been getting our ass kicked, and we're not really doing the ass kicking as much as we had earlier in the season.
right.
We're winning, like today we won 4-1. That's kind of handily. Yesterday we were up 5-1 going into the eighth or ninth, and like we're winning handily, but it's not, you know, early in the season, we were winning 7-0, 7-1, 10-1, stuff like that. So, but not too worried. Uh, and then the first game of the series, that's when Herder started, right?
The first game, that sounds right. Let me do a double check.
Yeah, Herder pitched.
Yes. He
Looks
went
like
two
he
and two
pitched. Yeah,
thirds.
yeah,
But
he
then your
gave up a
boy,
run. He gave up a run to tie it because yeah, McKinstry had a triple, two out
yep,
triple. No, 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 one out triple. Then Wenzel sack flied him in, and
yep,
then inning and a half later, Herder gave up a. Oh yeah, I remember this because so we got the first two out, or no, first guy out. Holiday singled. Rutschman flied out to center. Holiday had to stay at first. Then he stole the base, and then we gave up a hit. It was just like those are kind of you don't want to give up those kind
manufactured
of yeah.
runs.
You don't
Yeah,
really want to give up that kind of run. You'd rather make them really earn it by getting hits and stuff. So
yep,
that was just a little disappointing to see in a way. But then we bounced right back. Um,
yeah,
two outs in the fourth. Wenso doubled the left, and Javi singled to get Perez in, and then the fifth inning, another two-out rally. Green doubled, and Dingler got him in, and then after the next batter, Torque 419. I think it was left center. Bang, 5-1, just like that. So it blew it open.
yep.
Yep, and then Gibson Long gave up a sac fly in the eighth, and then Vest gave up a home run in the ninth. So overall, I mean, I thought they looked pretty good this series. Do you like the bats to get a little bit hotter? You know, they only scored 9, 10 runs out of the right 5, 4, 1. So yeah, 10 runs. It's below our average, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we would
Go
have
back.
lost this series aggregate.
Yeah. Yep.
We would have tied our 3 games against the second game,
Yeah. Yep.
which that's crazy. That's just but like we said, 5 minutes ago, those games happen.
Yep.
Just gotta pick yourself up, forget about it, move along. And today they only gave up what 1 run, so I'm not too worried. We're fine.
Speaking of being worried, though, Jackson Jobe announced he's got Tommy John surgery or getting Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out for at least a year. Um, you know, he was pitching. I thought he was pitching well. He wasn't, like an ace or anything, but for being a rookie and everything, he was, he. I feel like he would give up runners, but he'd always seem to get out of it. It's not like he was
Yeah,
giving up 7 runs a game or anything. He was pitching well and going 5 strong innings most of the time, and then handing over to the bullpen. You know, not everybody's gonna be Tarek Skubal out there, so
right.
I don't know. I thought it's gonna be a big miss. A lot. I feel like some people were kind of down in the fact that like, oh, he's not that. We're not missing that much, but especially with
Right.
our injuries recently. But um, I don't know. I think he was a good piece, and hopefully he comes back and dominates like Skubal did or has.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we put it out on our socials that we were losing them. I quoted it and said that it's a big loss. Detroit Sports Brain replied to it and said, "Yeah, now we just have to wait for old man Alex Cobb to work his way back up from injury." That might be. I replied to him. That might be not till 2027. By the way, that he's going. Obviously, that's he's only under
Exaggeration.
contract for mass exaggeration, but
Yeah.
um, it's that's why we have Sawyer Gibson Long right now. Like, is he necessarily MLB ready, like to be in a rotation? No, but we need him. So yeah, Joe, big loss, but I do have a little bit of a spicy take. He's only 22 years old, so not too many people have to get Tommy John more than once. So getting it out of the way now, and then the rest of his career should be pretty smooth sailing.
As long
Um,
as as long as he can come back healthy, which I feel like is
fair,
seems like typically they can. I
yeah,
don't know 100%, but I know that's why I'm not like worried. Like for the short term it sucks, but for the long term, like you kind of said, it's not like the worst thing. Like Casey Mize has been pitching well since he came back,
right,
and he was fairly young when he got it too. He was
yep.
24, 25. So
Now, I would have rather this happened in a year where we weren't going to be, the top of the league and all that, and kind of one of the years where we are down. Not maybe not last year, but the year before. Granted, he would have been what 20, a couple 2 years ago. I don't even know if we had drafted him yet, but I mean, it's a blow, but you gotta take it, get back up, and um, Scott Harris went on 97, won the ticket, and said that we're going to be buyers at the deadline. Basically, we're trying to make moves.
yeah,
We'll see kind of what he wants to go out and get, whether it's going to be a starting pitcher or some more bullpen help or a third baseman.
yeah.
Well, who knows?
Couple of
Because there's
things.
definitely a lot of ways he can go, but
Yeah, that's why it's good that it kind of happened now. It's like now we know. I think we already needed starting pitching, but like now we know like we really do need at least somebody, even if it's not a big name. Like you need someone to that's probably better than Gibson Long. Like no offense to him, but just more seasoned or
right,
something like that. Um, but then also like I think we kind of need all of those things. We kind of need a bat, we need a starting pitcher, and we need a relief pitcher. Like we do need all three. And I hope you know Scott Harris means what he said, and that we're gonna go get these guys. I'd be happy with 2 out of 3, but if we get less than 2 out of 3 of those, I'm gonna be pretty upset because I think like this is our unless they really plan on signing Scooble like long term, like this is when you have to make it happen.
Right.
Everybody's young, everybody's under contract, so you have to get at least two of those three. And I one of them I think has to be the bat, and then I think you could
Yeah.
really go back and forth between relief and starter, but I don't know.
Yeah.
They just gotta go make a move, and I don't know. You know, I've tried to do research on who they should go get, but I don't really know. Um,
Yeah. I mean, some of these trades just come up out of nowhere
yeah.
too.
Well,
Like this
it's
guy wasn't
also
even being talked about being traded, and they went out and put a package together and said, "Oh, sure."
there's also so many people in baseball that like we could get the second starter from like the Angels. I have no idea who that. I don't even know who their first starter is. Like I don't. It's just there's
Right.
so many people that it's just hard, especially when it comes to relief pitchers. And then obviously when it comes to like a bat that we need, most likely third or short. Like the ones that come to mind. The only one that comes to mind that I think we possibly could get would be Alex Bregman. And that's a whole other can of worms. He had his chance, but you know
Obashat,
I wouldn't. I guess yeah, that's
that's
the
the
other
name that
one.
was
But like
thrown
everybody
out there.
else is like young and like they're
Up and
probably under
coming, and
contract, so it's
yeah,
not like it's actually going to happen. So
right.
I don't know. I don't
Would
know when is the trade deadline. It's got to be in like late
July
July.
31st.
Okay, so
It's always the last day of July,
we got two basic. I guess not two. About a month and a
a month and
half,
a half.
a month and 3/4. So got a little bit of time. So we'll see what the
Yep.
team keeps doing. I mean, the teams are so streaky. I mean, Javi was kind of down. Then he gets 3 hits this series in 2 games, and like they're so streaky. I mean, Parker Meadows is only hitting like 160 right now, and I know he's still working his way back, but Torque's been hitting. Jake Rogers hasn't been hitting. Dingler's been hitting. It's just, but Dingler
Right.
kind of goes in like a little bit of flow of some days he doesn't hit. It goes for a couple
Right.
periods where he doesn't hit, and then he hits well. So I mean,
Get the
that's
multi-hit
yeah.
game, and then yeah.
That's
Did
just baseball.
did Parker, was he in the spring training, or was he hurt?
I think he was hurt. I think he's been hurt for a
Okay.
while because
So
he
this,
was
I
on the
mean,
60 day.
yeah. Okay. So I mean, this is his first real baseball this
Yeah,
year, and you're starting off in the season. So I mean, everyone needs time.
yeah,
Either, some people start off super hot and then they just kind of trickle off and end
yeah.
up hitting 210. But some people start off, hitting 190 and go out for like 280.
My big thing with this team is
But
just keep contributing when you need to or when you can because this team isn't. They're not full of like great hitters. Like last episode I think we were talking about how they're fourth or fifth in the league in strikeouts. If I don't want them to strike out, but if you're gonna strike out, you know, make sure you make the timely plays. Or
right,
timely hits. And Dingler today, I mean, he gets the home run. Like the little like game one, how we had two. Well, we had 4 of our 5 runs came out 2 outs. So it's just like it's just getting those timely hits. It's just stepping up when you can, getting those when you need to. If you go 0 for the rest of the game, who cares? Like it's just you got
right,
the runs in when it needed to. That's
right.
the main goal. And Parker's gonna find his
So,
way.
oh yeah, no doubt, no doubt on that. Back to the trade deadline and all that. You said that, we want to get two out of the three positions, hitter,
Hmm.
starter, reliever. Would you rather we get two of the three, but they're, mediocre at best, or would you rather we make one big splash for one of the positions?
I think if you're trying to win the World Series, I think you have to do two.
We have guys to kind of step up. Like
Okay.
a McKinstry
Okay.
can
Well,
can step up and
yeah, but we haven't talked about. Okay, but so if you're saying McKinstry can step up, that means you're taking the hitter away. That means you're going after a starter reliever. Which is, but like, who's going to make a big splash out of those two positions? It's I don't. I haven't heard any starters or been linked to like
Big
anybody.
names, yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't talked about it yet. But Bo Brisky got sent down. A lot of people were calling for it. He hasn't been pitching well this year. Um, but like he was in our bull like that's kind of our bullpen right now. I mean, he might be having a more of a down season than the rest, but outside of Vest and Canely, like we haven't had great pitching out of the bullpen consistently. So it's like, are
Right.
you if we do make a splash and we get the hitter, well, you better hit because our bullpen's shaky, especially when it
Yeah,
gets into. I
true.
mean, I guess the playoffs come and you might have Job's hurt, but like you might have Reese Olson come out of the pen or, and Gibson Long and stuff like that. But just in general, like they're just not super
Yeah.
consistent. So I don't know. If I mean, that it's hard. Like I think reliever might be the position that we need in terms of like playoff success, just because like you need that guy that can bridge you between two to get to Canely and Vest. But at the same time, if that was one position to get and to make a splash, there's only like a handful of guys that are like worth a splash that are
Right.
reliever that aren't a closer.
Right.
So that's
Very
how it gets
few.
a little hard. Yeah.
Okay, so would you rather, I mean, there's closers out there we could go get. Would you rather go get a closer and then bump Will Vest back to like the setup, eighth inning kind of guy, or I mean, potentially flip flop him, like whoever the closer we go get, say, hey, look like you're going to be our shutdown guy in the eighth.
I mean, yeah, we could. It's just I don't know. I don't know. It's
I mean,
hard. It's
yeah,
hard to
there's
really. It's hard to really think about it without knowing who's possibly like on the
without
table and
without
stuff like
making the
that.
calls to
And
the teams and all that
yeah,
stuff.
and like I've
Yeah.
tried to do research on like I'm trying to look up things uh, of who we could possibly target, and everybody just says what we need. They don't really give out names, and to be fair, like they
Right.
probably just don't know, or I'm just looking in the wrong spot. But just
Right.
overall, it's hard to really make a guess when I don't really know. I don't know. I think if you're really trying to, if you're only making one play, I think I'm contradicting what I said earlier. But if you're only making one splash, I think it might have to be the hitter because
Okay.
we do have decent we have Tarek, we have Mize, and we have Flaherty. As long as they continue kind of on the track that they are, um, and we have Vash, we have Canely. Our bullpen can shut people down. It's just that they're inconsistent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if we could get if we get a bat and we're scoring 6 runs a game, you feel a lot more confident. But it's the
Right.
2-0 games and stuff. So if you do get a guy that can really help this offense, then I think that's really where you'd have to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So one guy that's on trade
And
block, allegedly, third baseman Eugenio Suarez, who we mentioned in, I think it was our first episode, started his career with Detroit. He's a bit of a power hitter, I think. He's got 19 home runs this year, batting 233, not great. But yeah, there's an MLB website that has, you know, top trade candidates right now. Trying to see if there's anyone that would fit our needs. Aroldis
yeah,
Chapman.
I mean Bo Bichette's been thrown around. He's hitting 275, but his slugging's only 425 and OPS is 745. So it's not. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's
it's
not
it's
he's
it's
not a
definitely
power
an
hitter.
upgrade, but it's not like it's like you know. Um, I don't know, but at the same time, who's going to be trading a guy that's going to be like the next big thing? So if that's
Right.
who we have to get, that's who we have to get.
Yep.
I don't know if I want it. I don't really want Aroldis Chapman.
He's too old.
He's getting older and he's got all the off field stuff, and it's just like you'd rather kind of just stay away from him. And
Yeah.
he's more. I think he's more of like a closer anyway. So I guess
Yeah.
he has played the setup man, but still we have those two positions. If that were to happen, I think that's what you move Canely probably down and have him be the guy at the bridge
Okay.
gap. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping we kind of get some news soon, um, one way or the other. Of I don't know, just hear something. I want to hear some buzz. I want to get
Right.
excited for, this is the move we're gonna make.
Right.
The only sad thing is that we're probably gonna have to get rid of someone. Well, not necessarily trade them away, but someone's gonna be off the team, and
Right.
I do like most of the guys on the team. You know, um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know who I'd want to get sent down because Ibanez is down now. Probably be like Trey Sweeney, but I like him. But he's the one that probably have to go down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're a little ways away from that. Well,
Yeah. We've got time to think about it and
yeah,
stew on it. And for all we know, we could get 4 injuries between now and then you know the whole season gets flipped on its head,
yeah.
and you have to start making very aggressive moves to try and stay afloat.
All right, so we
So
got. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, so I don't think they're gonna like there's not gonna be any moves till the 30th or 31st of July,
Yeah. Yep. Or at least like the week leading up to it.
right?
Um, oh, before we hop into the other things, we got the Cincinnati Reds coming to town. Um, they're
Ellie De La
35.
Cruz,
Yep, they're 35 and 34. So middle, that's not a, it's not
about
really that bad
500.
of a record. I mean, like Cleveland's like, Cleveland's kind of like around that area too.
They're
So it's,
like two
but
games up
yeah,
of 500, I want to say.
we got Montero throwing tomorrow, and then Flaherty Saturday and Gibson Long Sunday. As of now, someone will probably start instead. They'll probably be the opener or whatever.
Yep.
And then we got an off day Monday, and then we go to Pittsburgh. But I think it's the same thing as we always say: 2-1. Just go 2-1. Um, at first, I was gonna say this is might want to look at a sweep here, but I didn't know they were 500. So I'll be
Yeah,
happy. I would just
I
be happy with the 2-1.
I'm almost obviously I'd be disappointed. I'm almost thinking they might drop two.
They can't.
Just the the starting pitching isn't much. I mean, Flaherty, you have that, but the other two starters or slated starters could be, I guess, I don't know. It'll be a close couple games, I want to say. I hope I'm wrong,
Well, I
but then
mean,
it.
technically, yeah. I mean, you could say that about
I mean,
a lot.
I obviously,
I don't. The thing with that is, I don't really look at it as like the starters really shouldn't matter how many games we're gonna win. I think like you have like they're all our starting pitchers. Like they should be able to go out and win some games. But Flaherty should probably win his. Just going off, that's who he's the better.
the pass.
Our
Yeah,
number two. And then you should
yep.
get Montero or Gibson Long. One of them should have a decent game, you would think.
You would
But
think.
so their starters are Nick Martinez the first game. He's got a 3.7 ERA. Um, and then he doesn't really
They face
strike a
Hunter
lot of people.
Green.
He only he only strikes out 6 guys per 9. So that's probably that's only 4 or 5 guys at a start. Then we
Yeah.
got Singer, who's got even worse ERAs, 4.5, 4.6. And then we got who was the last one? Miley. Um, Molly's only made two. He's only played in 2 games. He only has one start. And he's got 9 ERA. So obviously that's one game. So it's hard to really
Yeah.
judge. But it seems like he's a young guy. So it's something that we can go after.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
we're a very good team at home. So
That's very true. It looks like that game on Sunday, the third game, is on
the
Roku.
Roku, yeah. I think that
So plan
doesn't.
accordingly.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we watch it. We can still watch it on
You
FanDuel.
can
I
still get
think.
it on FanDuel.
Yeah, I think it's out of state or out of area.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but we got um, back to an 8 game lead. So just keep 2-1, 2-1, 2-1.
Yep.
Um, I get what you were saying, but these are like you gotta
They're professionals.
yeah
They're
you
getting
gotta have a
paid.
little bit of confidence that Montero can have good like sometimes he does have good stuff. He can go out there and pitch decent. Gibson Long is he's only been out there what twice or whatever, so it's still but it's our
Still new.
bats got to
Yep.
pick up. It's more of the like we know that going in, our bats got to pick them up. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Very
We'll
true.
see.
I do have one more thing. So if you were Scott Harris and the Tigers, how many years would you sign Tarek Skubal to? As like just however many you want, that's what you get.
If I got well, let's see.
If you got,
Part of my
if you were
takes.
in
What did
his
he say?
shoes,
He said 10 years, 425.
or something like that,
He's about 30, right? He's around
he's
30.
28 right now. He was born in 96.
Okay, so
I think he's turning 29 and
yeah.
whenever
Um,
on his birthday.
why not give him 8 years?
I was thinking eight.
Like
Eight would be
you.
my
It's the
height,
same. It's the same
my
thing with
max.
Miggy. Like like you gotta like hope. I mean, he doesn't. If he's gonna get injured, he should have at least 3 years of dominant pitching, and then so you have 5 more years. Then you're hoping to get 3 years of just good pitching. I think that's worst case scenario. I mean, the way he's going, he's not even pitching 100 games, like or 100 pitches. So that could be he could have 4 or 5 years of dominant pitching. But I think worst case
Right.
scenario, you get 3 years of like dominant pitching where he's top 10 in the league, and then I think you get 3 more years of good pitching. Maybe not, still top like 30, but not as dominant. And then who cares? Like the last 2 years, who cares? Like you're trying, like go win
Right.
in those 3 dominant years, and who cares?
Right.
I think I don't have a problem giving him 8. People are scared to give him money because he's like older and stuff, but it's like I don't know, just you want your guys, you want your
Yeah.
star players. You want you know imagine if like I don't know. I was gonna kind of compare him to like Aiden Hutchinson, but it's like, and I don't know, like Nadamakan Sue. Like you probably wish we would have paid him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like it's like it would have been a situation where kind of like Miggy, where he does decent the first couple of years and he falters off. But
Right.
the guys that are with you, you just want to keep, and especially someone like Tarek Skubos. He seems like he likes to try it. He loves AJ Hinch. Like it's just get the deal done. And
Yep.
part of that's
Yep.
I don't know. It's hard to talk about other people's money, but at the same time, I'm hoping he wants to stay here and he's willing to negotiate and not go to free agency, and
Right.
maybe leave a little money on the table, but it's hard to really say that. Everybody wishes that as fans, but that's not the reality we live in anymore.
Yep. No, my thoughts almost exactly the same as yours. I'd say somewhere between 6 and 8 years. Don't give him 10, but
I think that's why
yeah.
he probably said yes to the 10 425 is because it was 10 years. I
Right.
don't I don't think he'll sign anything for 6. I think you have to go 8. And I
Yeah.
think almost money almost might not be an issue. It's like okay, 8 years at, you know, 300 million, that's almost 40 million a year. So like,
Yeah.
he knows he's getting at the back end stuff, but um yeah, I don't know. Oh, and I don't care how much money. There's no cap. There's no
Oh
cap in
yeah. That
baseball. It literally needs to open up the I'll go buy I'll go eat Little Caesars. I don't care. Just like I want Detroit guys to start paying like making these moves when they can.
Yeah.
I know like other sports it's harder because like there is a salary cap, but like go make the move. Stop like think about how much um how much merch and how much people are more willing to go to games and everything when our teams are good. Like you get that all the time. I don't know. Just do it
Yeah.
one time. Not one time. Do it every
Right.
time. But
Right.
yeah, it'd just be
Do it.
nice.
Just do it for once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, 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 no.
Oh,
Don't do it for once. Do it for once and then keep doing it.
yeah.
Like, like
It,
it's just so annoying that these like I know, and maybe they have a plan, but it's I'd rather have an owner go out and try and get guys and maybe fail doing that than one that just like sits around waiting and waiting and
right.
waiting. And then when we finally do have a good team, still waiting, be like, oh, we might be good enough to win this team, so why go spend more money?
Right.
So
Yeah.
like Ishbia with the Suns, like he probably went at it the wrong way, but he tried. He got Katie, he got Bradley Beal. He tried you know, getting
He
guys to
tried making
win.
a team.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it didn't work out, but at least he tried. And
Right.
basketball's a little different because now they might suck for a while because he made those mistakes.
Trade
But
capital,
baseball, it's
draft
not like
capital.
baseball
You're not
doesn't
trading
matter.
picks or
Yeah, um, but speaking of going to get the guys and making moves and everything, we'll transition out of the Tigers and um, I think you said or on Monday when we recorded Jair Alexander news of him getting cut by the Green Bay Packers came out. There was talk on like Twitter that um, should the Lions sign him? Um, I don't know, but I don't know his whole situation, but I would say no. I think he probably costs too much. Like I feel like we're already
yeah.
in limbo with cap and everything. So, but and also it sounds like he's a pretty big locker room problem. I mean, he's good, but I don't know. The best ability is availability, and he is not available all the time. At least he wasn't for the Packers. So he's good, but I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. We got a young defense. I mean, he would help, but it's just I don't know. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's it's hard because he has the talent and he can definitely make a difference on the field. But then, you know, does he fit the Dan Campbell culture is kind of what it boils down to. And if
Which
he does, then yeah, go for it. Get him, on a 1 year, 2 year deal, until we can get some reinforcements through the draft, like the two that we got last year can kind of start developing and stepping up. But if he's not willing to, go out there and die for Dan Campbell,
yeah,
like, what was it, Ratledge? He's one that
Rutledge.
said that,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
then stay away. We're building something here. We have a culture now.
yeah, yeah.
And
Obviously, like as a player, you kind of want him, but I just don't know if he's the
right,
fit and it's more about the cap. I'm more concerned about the cap and maybe him getting cut. Maybe he's on like the Russell Wilson, where like you only have to pay
right.
him,
Sign for a million.
500,000 because he's getting paid
Yeah,
so much, or or whatever. So I
right.
don't know. We don't need him. I think he, I think he caused some lack. It doesn't seem like his attitude's the greatest. So
Yeah,
outside looking in, I don't really know, but um, that doesn't fit well. And maybe maybe it's just because of the team he's on. So maybe he would fit. I don't know, but because there's some people
yep,
on the Lions, I'm like I'm surprised he fits. I mean, even like C.J. Gardner Johnson, like you on the outside, you'd be like, there's no way he's a Dan Campbell guy. But it seems like he was a lot more like he was. It seemed like he was a lot more like in the Dan Campbell mindset than
right.
maybe he looks on the outside. Maybe
Yeah,
didn't go about it the same way Dan Campbell would, but in general, I think he had that mindset. So I don't know. Who knows? Um, and then Red Wings related, another contract guy is the only thing I really have seen about them is Vladimir Tarasenko. Look, they signed him last year. Looks like they might be shopping him around. He kind of didn't really do anything for us last year. So if they can get rid of him, I think it's a good thing. It just depends on if you have to um,
Eat some cap.
eat some cap or trade assets with him, which
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd want to do that, but they better be hopefully making a move there. Back to the Lions. This will be one of the last things before we go. Um, the thing about TJ Watt, the TJ Watt trade. Um, People, he's holding out, so people thought,
Yeah.
oh, let's make trades up of what team can get
Oh,
for him. What was it? The Lions? They said that we'd trade a first and a second round, first this next year, like second round 2 years, whatever that is.
is that what it
That's an
was?
instant yes. Like,
Oh,
what
for
are we doing?
sure, without a
Like,
doubt.
normally it's the opposite. Normally all these places, it's like you're gonna, the Pistons. Let's trade 5 first round picks for some dude that doesn't even start on the Cavs. It's like, no, what are we doing? This time it's like a hell yeah. I'm in for that. I don't think it
Right?
worked. I think TJ's way too like
Oh,
I've
here it
said,
is.
we're kind of not. I don't think we're in a
No,
great cap situation.
2027 first, 2026 fourth.
Even better. I'm in. Sign us up.
And that was a FanDuel. FanDuel proposed a trade that sends TJ Watt to the Lions.
I hate how they do stuff like that. I just hate it. It's like they shouldn't be able to tweet stuff like that.
Right? But yeah,
That's a
in a
whole other camp.
heartbeat,
Yeah.
I would do that. But then you have to pay him, and then you
Yeah,
probably
I don't know
don't,
if we have money. Like we,
re-sign JMO and
yeah.
all the other people who were trying to re-sign like from that
Well,
first.
you would think they'd like trade like like they'd trade one of our other D linemen with them to get rid of a little bit of cap or something like
Right?
that. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Who knows? Obviously, it's not going to happen. He's going to end up being back with the
Oh,
Steelers, so um,
yeah.
it's not that big of a deal.
Or he could go to the Packers, being a Wisconsin guy.
Yeah, honestly, I like TJ and everything, but I'm not like too worried about him. Like I don't know, maybe it's good. Maybe our O line won't be as good, but I don't know. I'm just not really. I don't know. There's just
Yeah.
something about him. I'm not like
I mean, we don't play the Steelers every year,
no,
so it's
that
kind of hard
part of it.
to worry about him when we're not the ones facing them,
Yeah, but even like the games I watch, like there is some games where he dominates, but then there's a lot of games I feel like where he's just not doing much. So
right?
it's like as long as you
Almost kind
don't
of
get the
like,
if you as long as you don't get the game that he dominates on, then who
right?
cares? But I don't know. Anything else?
No.
No. The only thing I was gonna talk about was oh my god, I already forgot his name. Hold on a second.
Oh, back to the Red Wings. Tarasenko.
Mm-hmm.
How big was his contract?
I'm not
Did
sure.
we do we try to like was it big or was it, mid-size?
Probably
I
it's
just don't
probably a
really know hockey
we
numbers.
probably overpaid for him a little bit.
I mean, getting a player in free agency is almost like buying a new car.
Yeah, it's almost like you have
After a
to.
year, their value is going to decline because they're a year older. Sometimes you get lucky and they outperform, and then you get the boom. But most of the time,
Two
it's a
year 90.
depreciating asset.
He makes 4.75
Oh, okay,
a a AAV. I think they call it in there. But yeah. So
adjusted annual value,
yep. No. Average annual value.
average, average,
Um,
average.
so the last thing I want to talk about was the hockey related. Gavin McKenna. He's like this hockey phenom that like scored like two, had like 2 points a game average or something, if not
Oh
maybe
wow,
more. There's a chance Michigan State gets him in. Um,
there we go.
Apparently the
Apparently,
every time someone says that, I think that even when I say it, um, they think people are starting to think he might go to Penn State, but it'd be sick if. I mean, I think as of now he'd be next year's. I don't know. I think this maybe I don't know, but he's very good, obviously. And I think at the OHL he was scoring 2, 3 goals a game. It seemed like, but you put him with, we got Trey Augustine, we got Iceman, Isaac
Howard,
Howard, and
yeah. Red Savage.
uh, no, Red Savage was senior. I think he's gone.
Is he? He didn't get a medical?
I doubt it, but yeah. So it'd be sick to have. We have. I mean, we've got a couple other big guys that commits and stuff too. So that'd be pretty sick, but. I don't know. Michigan State always comes in second to every recruit known to man. That's a
Right.
high profile recruit. Basketball, football, probably going to happen here with hockey. So I don't know.
Yeah, it would suck to see him go to Penn State because, in conference, a team that's not, at the bottom, obviously, if they're ranked for
Yeah.
this guy, but it'd be it, it'd be tough to play them, and then
Yep. But when you got the best
especially if
goalie,
he's
you
yeah, but
can um, hopefully weather those storms a little better.
goalie can only do so much. You need to
No,
have a
I
good
know.
defensive line, defensive lines.
Yep. But
So,
all right. You got any final topics or anything? I think I'm all out.
oh, did you have any games for today?
Did I have any games for today?
Yeah, to close this out.
Oh no, I would have. We
Oh,
would have probably done a draft. I feel like every Thursday we're gonna do a draft of some sort, but um, Kyle wasn't here, so okay.
gotcha.
Here's last thing. Since you're,
One last thing.
yep, since your life in your lifetime, so since you were born, what is the one? Give me your. I'll do this. Give me your top 3 games you wish you could have attended. Detroit sports.
Okay. So, no particular order because they're just coming to me. I would have done first one that came to my head was the Lions playoff game against the Rams. Um, I think I gotta go Maglio walk off home run to go to the World. Oh man,
Those are 2 of mine.
Pistons NBA championship 04, right? 04.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing about that is I don't know if they're. I think they were home to close that out.
I just any of those games.
Yeah, yeah, but you got to pick one.
I mean, let's see, NBA Finals. I want to see if
The Pistons were home.
home. Yep.
Yep. That was when they did the 2-3-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now it's what 2-2-1-1. 2-2-1-1. Two
Yeah, it's 2-2-1-1-1.
2-2-1-1-1. Yeah. Okay.
So I would have the same one. What the heck? Must be. The only one I would have switched was the.
Pistons.
No, the. Yeah, the Pistons for like the Red Wings, but the Red Wings clinched at Pittsburgh. But I mean, I guess
Oh.
technically I could go in my lifetime. I could go.
Oh
We
yeah. You
won
can go.
multiple cups. Plus, we had the
You
freaking
could you could do all the cups.
Colorado. No, I'd have Maglio home run as in Detroit first Lions home playoff game. Those got to be
Yeah.
top 2. Um,
Well, there were home playoff games and with Barry. You could have seen Barry play in person.
no, the last home playoff game was '92. That was before I was born. think it was something like that. That was
or
our last
just
win.
saw him play.
True, yeah, but Colorado Wings like that, the brawl that'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah,
But I mean, Mags, I think the top two you'd have to pick Maglio and the Lions home first home playoff game.
yeah. I mean, the next one that I thought of was a negative, but it was Thanksgiving. Was it Thanksgiving? No, it was Thursday night football. The Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary
Yeah, I would not have
being
liked to go.
there.
I mean, dude, we went to the one against the
I know
Falcons where they got
that's what I
screwed.
was gonna
That's
say.
the worst feeling.
It is, but then everybody is all feeling the same thing. It's negative,
Yeah,
but it's all like all booze and
yeah,
all that stuff,
yeah. No,
which makes
there
your
is some.
feelings.
Yeah, there is something about that. But just going to the ALDS game three this year, like it's so much
Oh
better
yeah,
when
for
it's the.
sure.
And that was the first like professional playoff game that we've been to, and that was awesome.
Oh yeah, 10 out of 10.
I mean, we're gonna have to go again, hopefully this year.
Gonna have to.
Although tickets would probably be a lot more expensive. Although I don't know, they weren't like terrible last year.
No. And now if we, say we're gonna go beforehand, then it'd be a
Well,
lot
it also
easier.
depends on what time we. I mean, we had the one we went to was started at like 3 o'clock or something. We left at
Yeah,
like
it's
noon.
true.
So, but yeah, I don't know. But well, that's it. Um, we'll be back Tuesday, right? Yeah, we record Monday and yeah,
Thursday.
Monday and Thursday. Yeah, so we'll be back Tuesday. That's it for the Ryan and Ben show.
Yep.
Yep. We'll see you down the line.